I'm at a point in my SR journey where I'm realizing how much time I wasted on women and how much time and energy I've gained because of SR. Now I'm on day 144. I didn't think I was going to record a video, but I have to say this. I just got home from the gym and it's really fucked up that you're never going to be able to see how much time you're wasting, how much energy you're wasting on women, on relationships. You're never going to see all the little things that you do that are wasting your energy, that are taking your energy, because you don't see these little, you go smoke weed once, you don't see it as, oh, this is going to ruin my life 10 years down the line. You don't see how, oh, if I go fuck this bitch right now, that's going to ruin my life. You don't see it. You just see the moment. And if you do see, if somehow, whether you're retaining or not, and you are able to precisely decipher the consequences of every action that you're going to take, then you're an intelligent person. As far as being able to see the bigger picture of your life and the trajectory of your life, it takes a certain level of awareness to do that. And it wasn't until I started doing retention, and it's a buildup, streak after streak after streak, I see my trajectory changing, but there's an anger. And a lot of you guys ask me about this. How do I deal with the anger? You change. You create new habits. And nothing's going to change overnight. You know, there's times on my streak where I'm able to just accept the fact, because you can't change the past. You can't. But if I can speak upon my mistakes, then maybe I can save you from not doing that. Because I believe it's a very serious thing. Now, I have a lot of things to be grateful for in my life. So success is always relative to your desires. But I'm at a place in my life where I thought at this age I would be different. I had goals that were never accomplished because I was too involved in lust. I had goals that were never accomplished because I was smoking fucking weed. Because I was doing drugs. Because I was hanging out with friends that weren't my true friends. I was hanging out with people that didn't give a fuck about me. I was, hanging around the wrong crowd. And when you're young, you don't see these things. You don't see how, like I said, you fuck this bitch and you don't see how that's going to change your life down the line. You just see the pussy. You just see, I'm going to, have some fun for a couple of hours. I'm going to fuck this bitch one time. That shit turns into 3 weeks. That shit turns into 3 months. That shit turns into a relationship that takes a year from your fucking life. And then you get out of that relationship, and then you think, okay, well, I can go bag this bitch. She bad as hell. Let me go over here. Same thing. I'm just going to fuck her once. I'm just going to watch this video one time. What does that turn into? That watching porn one time turns into you watching porn every day. You jerking off a couple times a week turns into you jerking off a couple times a day. You jerking off turns into you wasting years of your fucking life. And I never talk about this because the truth is, I'm fucking ashamed of that shit. And it's much easier to come on camera and be like, you know what, I'm on day 144. And people can't even believe that shit. Some of you can't even believe that I'm on day 144. And that just goes to show you how men are so weak that they can't imagine that somebody, and people are on longer streaks than me, that goes to show you that they don't even believe that somebody is capable of doing that shit because they're so involved in their shitty fucking habits. And I know I'm not the only person that feels this way. You think that I'm going to smoke this blunt, just on the weekend, and then that turns into you smoking weed every day or multiple times a week, and you're putting off your projects for 1 week. That sets the tone for the next week. You go out with your friends, you go to a bar, you go to a club, you end up doing that for a year fucking straight. Every weekend. That's months of your life. Of you doing absolutely fucking nothing. You talking to a woman. You're spending hours texting this bitch. You're spending hours planning dates. You're spending hours going from relationship to relationship, which turns into years of your life down the drain. Completely fucked. And a part of me wants to blame the older generation. A part of me wants to blame society, but that's not good enough for me. I have to blame myself. If you actually want to change, you can't just blame society. You're not going to get anywhere if you put all the weight that's been on you onto somebody else. So I take accountability and I have an awareness that, yes, I'm changing now. But man, does that fucking hurt. You guys ask me, how do you deal with the fact that you've been depleted for so long? And now, you're on 144 days. How do you deal with the rage? How do you deal with the anger? How are you not mad at society? How do you deal with that stress of grinding all the time? You should be understanding that that's all you can do. If you really want to change. And lately, I'm understanding more and more that you can't, it's something that a lot of people say, that you can't fix your habits surrounding lust. You can't fight against lust. You have to run from it. And that's the truest thing. You cannot fight this shit. You have to fucking run. And the reason that I'm even on 144 days is because I'm fucking pissed at myself. I'm completely angry. So when you ask, how is it that you're able to work out every day, make music, get ready for your shoots, and do all this shit and post consistently? How could I not? That's the thing. I feel like I'm not even doing enough. That's how you're going to feel the longer that you retain. Yeah, you may be 1% of the fucking population, but that's not even good enough for you. You don't give a fuck about the days. I only tell you to be transparent with what I'm experiencing. And so I can look back on these videos and be like, that's what I was experiencing. That's how I was feeling during this time. But especially for the younger generation, don't fall into trying to fit in. Don't waste these years. A lot of people are going to say, don't waste these years on working on yourself or working hard. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing until you can genuinely say, I'm happy with my life. And if you're not there, you're not there. Don't lie to yourself. Don't mask that shit by watching a dirty ass video so you can go to sleep at night. Don't mask that shit by jumping into a relationship when you're not where you want to be. Don't mask that shit by smoking and drinking and doing all this extra shit that is not going to get you to where you want to be anyway. And I know I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I don't tell you guys, like I said, it's a lot easier to just say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing now. But it took me fucking years. I've been doing retention for almost 3 years on and off. Multiple relapses at the beginning. And I would fucking hate myself. Do you know how weak you have to be to not be able to control your own dick? Not be able to control your own lust and your sexual energy. And then people want to comment on my videos. I've been seeing women comment on my videos, all types of motherfuckers watching this shit. When I don't understand why you're watching this shit, when I don't give a fuck who's on this channel, other than the real retainers and the masculine men. I don't want this channel to be for, yes, I know I post a multitude of shit on this channel, but I want to be able to resonate and connect with you guys, and I'm not going to connect with women. This obviously isn't for fucking women or gay people or transgender people or whatever. If you're not a man who is trying to gain his fucking balls in this world and actually be full of masculine energy and work towards that, being your authentic self, how the fuck are you watching this channel? I don't understand. And I have nothing against any of the people that I just listed. I don't give a fuck what you do with your dick. I don't give a fuck if you're gay, if you're yellow, purple. I don't give a fuck what genitals you have. But if you're not trying to be your authentic self and be full of your sexual energy and retain, why the fuck are you watching these videos? I don't understand that. I don't understand how depleted fucks can come on here and be like, oh, but retention, if everyone does retention, then there's going to be no more life on Earth. Retention is placebo. Retention is fake. You guys are a bunch of incels. Do you go to sleep at night feeling proud that you're empty as fuck? Do you not understand that you've been fucking lied to? That you're masking the pain with drugs, porn, women, who knows what the fuck you're doing? And then these people have the audacity to come on here and say, you're not on 140 days. Motherfucker, I should be on 500 fucking days. I should be years into this shit. You should be years into this shit. 140 days is absolutely fucking nothing. It is nothing. And the fact that you think that that's a long streak says a lot about you. The fact that you think that this is unattainable shows how weak you truly are. You're going to sleep at night beating your own dick. And then you wonder years down the line, why didn't I get the girl that I actually wanted? Why am I not successful in my business? Why am I still doing the same shit that everybody around me is fucking doing? Because you never listen to yourself. If you aren't going to retain, don't watch these videos. I don't know why you're here. You're going to continue being weak, and everything that I say in all of my videos, those are the consequences that you're going to face. You're going to struggle throughout life. Opportunities are going to fly past you like you never even knew they were there. I look back and I see all the opportunities that I missed out on because I was doing drugs, because I was lustful. There is not a reason for you as a young man to be in a relationship. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. There's no reason for you to be in a relationship, even in your 20s, even in your 30s. Why the fuck do you need to be in a relationship when you haven't done shit with your life? Yeah, you may have a house, you may have an apartment, you may have a job, you may have certain habits and things about you you're put together on some level, but you're still beating your dick every night. You're still watching porn. You're still lusting over women. And you can say, well, that's not a big deal because it's normalized. I still got all this other shit. I have the money to go smoke. I have the money to go drink. I want to enjoy my life. If I don't have these vices, if I don't have pleasure in my life, I'm going to be bored. I'm going to be void of any happiness. How am I going to enjoy life? I've seen multiple comments. Sex is the only thing that's good about life. How can that be the only thing that's good about life? If that's the only thing that's good about life, you have no life. That just shows you and everybody else that you're not seeing what's possible. I remember when I got into my first relationship, before I was 14, I was, you have these, they're not even relationships, right? So I won't even go into that shit. 14 years old, I wasted a fucking year. A year of my life with some bitch. Of course, nothing's gonna go anywhere. You're 14 years fucking old. Like, nothing's going to happen. 15 years old, I didn't learn from shit. 16 years old, I didn't learn from shit. 17, 18, I didn't learn at all. I was smoking weed. I was fucking. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about shit. Because being depleted makes you a fucking moron. And then you blame life. You blame your circumstances. You don't have balls to actually be accountable. You don't have the balls to say, you know what? maybe the reason my life is so shitty is because I'm a piece of shit. And then those same people want to watch the SR videos like, you guys are fucking crazy. We're the only sane people in society. And you can say all you want. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. But you can't say I'm an empty fuck. You can't say that I'm not real with you. You can't say that I don't stand on all the shit that I fucking say, because I live it every day. I don't have to go and watch porn to feel good. I don't have to go chase women to go feel good about myself. I don't have to go fuck because I can't control my energy. And once you get that down, once you get to the point of understanding that your sexual energy is the most important thing, and that you can handle yourself, you can control your dick, you can control everything else. But it happens too fucking late. I'm angry that it happened this fucking late. And some of you are 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you still are barely getting on retention. I can't imagine the anger that you feel for being depleted for so long. But it has to change. We have to be better for ourselves. And you have to think about the example that you're setting, even if it's not direct, even if you're not talking about your experience. You're still setting an example of what true masculinity is. You're still setting an example of what it means to be a man, and how to actually be successful, how to actually control yourself, how to actually be articulate, how to actually do things the right way, how to not waste time, how to use your energy in the right way. You're giving attention towards things that are actually productive. People are going to see that shit. But if you're smoking weed and you're drinking every weekend, then you want to go back and say you're on retention, and then you're watching porn. You may be mentally edging, you may be physically edging, you may be chasing these women, maybe you're texting these women, you're trying to develop some kind of plans with these women. Years of your life are going to be taken away from you. It may seem like, yeah, I'm just going to go on a date with this bitch, I'm just going to go fuck this bitch, and it's just going to be a one-time thing. That one-time thing turns in you being depleted, the chaser effect kicking in. You're blindsided by all the negative consequences of you being depleted. You get okay with being depleted. That one time turns into a fucking month. And then you just trying to get back to square one takes a fucking month. And then it takes 3 months just for you to feel fucking normal. And then 3 months upon that, you realize that shit wasn't enough. And that one time that you fucked up ruined a whole year for you. And then you're spending the next year, you just spent 2 years trying to get yourself into a state of positive momentum. But no, the world wants to talk about fucking. The world wants to talk about what you should go buy, the next drug to do, what party is the hottest party, what concert to go to, what fucking rave to go to, what all this bullshit, what club you want to go to. Who's fucking who? Society is fucking you. The world is fucking you over. By normalizing all this shit, your friends are fucking you over. Your friends are holding you back. The bitch you want to fuck is holding you back. And you can't blame anybody but yourself. And then people are going to fucking hate you because you're the only one in your corner of the world getting your shit together. And it's an anomaly. You seem like a fucking alien. People will say, you'll tell your friends, I've been retaining for a week. I've been retaining for a month. They're going to not believe you. They're going to say you're full of shit. Because they don't have the balls to do that shit. And that just shows how weak they are. And then you go to work around a bunch of depleted fucks, and they're going to fucking hate you. They see that you're different. Your energy is not non-existent to these motherfuckers. Your energy is felt. They can hear it in your tone. They can see it in the way that you carry yourself. They can see it in your habits, the way you articulate yourself, the way that you do things, even on the smallest level. Your retention is going to manifest. And these people will continue to try to hold you back. And that's why I've said multiple times, the biggest thing, the biggest opposition on retention is going to be other men. And they will try to gang up, they'll try to click up and try to and force their weak fucking aura onto you. And they'll laugh at you, and they'll do all this extra acting like a female shit. And then they'll go home and beat their dick and smoke some fucking weed and drink with their friends. And then you're getting your shit together, and they think you're crazy.